You can combine a Wyckoff schematic with a PO3, and I'm gonna explain that in this video. So ZEC Zcash had a crazy PO3. I'm going over it, I'm going back in time, and I'm gonna explain how this was an amazing power of 3, because if you don't know how to trade it, you will know after this video. So for all the compounders, welcome, and let's get into it. So what do I see here? Let's first see what structure does, because we are of course making higher highs and higher lows, and structure is clearly in an uptrend. So here you make higher highs, higher lows, and what you can see here is that you have a range with a deviation of that range. Wait, I'm not back in time anymore. This is very weird. Go back in time, and right now you did have a range right there. So you draw your range from high to low, and there was your range. But you had a very aggressive move outside of the range. So I'm watching for 30%, 30% above or 30% below the range for the deviation limit. And what you can see here at the deviation limit, you had no close above the deviation limit. I'm gonna watch what is the highest time frame my range is on, and is there a full body candle close above the deviation limit of 30%. And that's not the case. So right now this can also just still be a normal model we always trade with, of course, the range high is your tap 1, the range low is your tap 1, and right now we have our tap 2 if we get acceptance back inside the range. But the thing with the PO3 is you don't get acceptance back inside the range, and you manipulate and you go lower aggressively, okay, and you target the range low. So that's gonna be a PO3. I already explained it in another video earlier, but I'm going over it now on this particular setup. And the nice thing why this can possibly be a PO3 is because you had an aggressive break outside the range. And why I call it a break, because it is a fake break, because it's in the deviation limit, and because it's inside the deviation limit, it can be seen as manipulation. So this is gonna be manipulation. So what do we have here? We have a range. So this is gonna be the range, and that what we have right now is the breakout of the range. So this is the range, and that's the range. And this is not a breakout, this is the manipulation of the range, I mean. So draw a clean, and right now, what do you want to see when you're trading a PO3? And there are some new people in here who are watching this video, some new people in the compound private Discord as well. So I'm gonna explain the 3 things very quick. How can you play a PO3 when you have in a manipulation phase a something like this, where you have a tap 1 and a tap 2 and you break structure? Okay, this is your manipulation phase. So you have a tap 1, you have a tap 2, you break structure, and you enter. Why do you enter with only 2 taps? Because with a PO3 you can do it, because a PO3 very often only has 2 taps. 2 taps in the manipulation phase, because your tap 1 also was already there. Okay, so the second thing what can happen is that you have your tap 1, and then you have an internal distribution schematic. So you have an internal distribution schematic with your 1, 2, 3, and boom, the range low was already taken out on this. So you can trade this like a normal PO3. So you will enter right here in the breakup structure, and you will target the range all the way to the range low, okay? So this has only 1 tap and an internal model. Right, this when you have 1 tap, and you can still have a 3 tap model. So you can have a normal model right here, model 2 in the manipulation, or you can still have a model 1 in the manipulation. This will only happen when you don't break structure. So that are the 3 options, and right now we can see what for option we have right now, because when I draw my range from high to low, I look or for a deviation of this high, or I look for an internal model. Okay, so I look for those 2 options. I didn't take this trade, by the way. I was offline for 2.5 days of the trading. So, but I want to go over it because it's very important. So I look for an internal model, or I look for a deviation of the high, and I look for some time displacement, because guys, this is a range of already 2 days and 19 hours. The manipulation phase needs to be at least 13 hours ish, okay? At least, no, it has to look good. Wait, the manipulation phase needs to be at least 11 hours. So calculate how much percent that is, but it does need to look good. It does need to take a bit little time because it's going lower now. You can see this is not enough time displacement. So you need some time displacement and then go lower, and then it's a valid PO3. So you need time displacement as well. And when I play it, you can see price went higher and price deviated that high. And let's see if he broke structure, because on a 5 minute we haven't broken structure yet. On a 3 minute there is actually a structure break. I see right now 2 candles going down, 2 candles going up. So right here you broke structure. Let's see. Yeah, this is a valid structure break. So your entry would have been right here. Stop goes above the high and you target all the way to range low. But let's see if I would have entered on a 3 minute break of structure, because guys, you don't always enter on a 1 minute break of structure, because that depends on how high time frame the model is and how good the return to zone is. Would I have entered right here on a 3 minute break of structure? Like the obvious structure right here, the obvious structure to break is right here, making higher highs, higher lows. This is the higher high, and there you go, lower. So the best structure to break is gonna be this point. Boom. But seeing the domino effect and seeing this break structure already would, yeah, I would have entered here for at least, I wouldn't enter my full position here. I would have probably maybe entered my full position right here when you broke the 5 minute structure. I wouldn't have entered the full position here, but I would have been stopped out for a 0.5%, 0.6% loss ish, because I would have tried it, to be honest. So let's see. I haven't backtested it as well, so let's see what we are gonna do right now. We're deviating it again, and very close to each other. That really falls away when you see it on a higher time frame. This just becomes one tap. There isn't even gonna be structure in there. So when I play it, you see we don't have any structure to work with right there, and maybe we go higher again, and there was your sell-off. So what is structure right here? Boom. 5 minute structure is making higher highs, higher lows. As I said, right here you lost some percentage because you entered on a 3 minute break. You didn't enter full because that's just stupid to do. Why would you enter a full position on 3 minute break while the range is more than 2 days? That's insanity. So you have a higher high, and now you need to break this point, this structure low, to confirm the model. So your entry would have been on the break of structure. Let's see. Yeah, would have been on this close. You would have filled pretty low. You would have been filled right here. So the stop goes above the high and you target a range low. Let's see what this RR is going to be, because of course you trade a PO3 right now. And the total RR would have been 4 RR. That's your weekly profit goal, guys. 4 RR is insane. Like a 4% on your trade, guys. You have to realize that is a lot. That's almost your weekly profit already with one trade. When would I have been taking profits? You obviously see this demand zone. This demand zone was, it wasn't even mitigated. So I would have taken my first profits for sure right there. Why do I draw that point as well? That's because that's liquidity. So this is your inducement. This is your gap market makers want to fill. The gap between this and this. That's your gap market makers want to fill. So my first TP would have been right there. Let's see how much RR that would have been. That would have been a 2.5 RR. I would have locked in 1 RR profits to just be completely risk free. And right now you see we didn't take the target yet and we went up. So let's see if I would have taken profits. Of course, this is a big liquidity point as well, but let's see if there's demand right there, because that would have been a reason for me to take profits. there isn't really any demand. There's probably structured demand on the 1 minute. Yeah, you only have this on a 1 minute. I don't really say this a lot in my videos, but I often front run my TPs. So when I say I TP at a range low, my TP is not at the range low, but my TP is right here, always a bit above it. So if I was in this trade, and I have to be completely honest, if I was in this trade, I would have been completely out right here. And it's not because I right here see the candle, but I can explain the process why that's the case, okay? I can prove the process why that's the case. And I really don't care if we did not take it out. I would still have said that my profit would have been right there, because you have this 1 minute structure demand, you have this very important liquidity level, and I always front run my TPs as I just talked about. So my full TP would have been right there. So that's my second TP. Boom. So the total RR, if this was your only TP, would have been a 4 RR. Absolutely amazing. And yeah, guys, I hope you now understand why this works so good. And a little bonus tip and trick is the supply you create after making a PO3 or after making a Wyckoff is your market maker supply. So this is right now your market maker supply. You can come into this is strong supply, and all those refined levels are also strong supply. You're probably already in the compound. If you're not in the compound private Discord yet, you can join. The link is in the bio. See you in there, guys. It's free. So hope you see you in there, and ask your questions in there. Ask your questions below this video. Give it a like, and see you in the next one. Ciao.